What's up, everybody? What's going on? Time for our morning stream here. Let me grab a couple things. But yeah, we're working on our Art War 2 character. If you haven't seen her before, well, this is her. Her name's Akala. If you guys want to check out the progress that I've been making on this character, there's a link down in the description, the first link there, that'll take you to my forum post on the Art War 2 page. But yep, we're going to keep working on this, and we've got some new stuff on the list to check out today. As you can see up here, I've started to block out a little bit of a hard surface mechanical ear. And we might play a little bit with that as well. I'm not really sure on the direction that I'm going to take that from here, but I want to do some stuff with her dress slash skirt, painting the eyes maybe. If you guys haven't seen that done before, that might be interesting. And also those ears again. USAC, Katie, what's going on, gang? Let me light our stream candle and we can go ahead and get started. Currently set in Maya, learning how to use its UVs. Yeah, that's where I first learned how to UV stuff, in Maya. Back in the day. But we got a good old vanilla frosting going, so that means stream time is official. Alright. So like I said, maybe some mechanical ears, maybe the dress, maybe the eye painting. I at least want to look at these mechanical ears for a good hot second here. So let's see, where is Photoshop? No, don't do that, Photoshop. So yeah, here's, oh snap. Here is a quick little glimpse at the reference that I've been working on. This is the flipped version because I've been staring at it one direction this whole time. So what we want to try to do is play with these mechanical ears a little bit more. And they're pretty unique. I need to figure out how this is kind of wrapping around and sitting on top of the head. So let's look up here. What I've done is kind of create this basic shape. Nothing too crazy. And I have dynamic turned on for that. This piece, this orange piece, is a Boolean subtracted piece. And you can kind of see that there, where that's subtracted down below. But yeah, playing with this and then looking at, again, how that's connecting. So I just kind of created a base piece that's like wrapping around. I think maybe if we do some slipping and sliding, we can maybe figure that out a little bit better. USAC says, can I ask your opinion about my stylized character that I made? I'll send it in Discord. Absolutely, USAC. The Alpha, what's going on? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Glad to have you all here. So, let's look at our mechanical ear and try to figure this out. And try not to let our throat get too dry. I'm gonna try initially just splitting this. Whoops. Trying to like... So with the not ZRemesher, I don't know why I said that. With the transpose tool, you can do like a little bit of a slide, kind of like that. I might be able to... Let's do... Won't be able to get it to be as uniform as I want. We'll turn on dynamic there. And perspective. try to line this up a little bit better. Turn on a few of these facial features here, eyes, all that, brows. Alright. And I'm thinking I'm gonna end up redoing for sure this orange piece here. And possibly tweak this little green piece as well. Tio Kilo! What's going on? Usek says, I'm still alive to learn some ZBrush. I'm glad you're still alive. Very glad, actually. That's very good news. Every day, I say, thank you, I am still alive. So yeah, definitely that orange piece needs to be redone. And I think just some angles need to change. Bring that angle in. So I'm going to convert that back to a low poly piece, kind of play with redoing that. Yeah, there's just some... Let's look back at this. So just kind of interpreting this. Oh, by the way, guys, thank you for the mouse recommendations. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, you can. I did get a new mouse, and it works great. It's the new Death Adder by Razer, I think. Death Adder is what it's called. Yes, the Death Adder Elite. Gosh, my other mouse was just killing me. The scroll wheel on it was just not working ever, and it would get stuck pressed in and be very frustrating. And then none of my mouse clicks would work, and it was just awful. So yeah, now this mouse is awesome. I really enjoy it. If anybody else is looking for a new mouse, check it out. But thank you guys again for the recommendations. So what we're looking at here. Slide this. The basic shape is fine. We're good with that. Of the ear. And we can maybe tweak that a little bit more. This is still a low poly piece, this outer edge, so that's fine. We can still tweak that. Razer Mamba Tournament Edition. That sounds really fancy. Maybe do some interpretation on this geometrical piece as well. But yeah, bringing this up and around so that it can kind of conform to the head, so it kind of spirals up a little bit, I think that'll help. I'm trying to make them shorter than this as well. I want them to look, like I said, you know, the concept that I'm working on, it's not going to be the final 3D version that I'm just going to try to replicate perfectly, because I want to make it better than that concept, that final concept. So, if we can, let's do a split hidden, and I'll split that off as well. And I'm just going to delete this. I don't even want to look at it. And I'm just going to redo this. Let's merge these down. Let's try to actually get this into a physical position where we can maybe make this work. Whoops. I can actually use my mouse to do stuff now, which is pretty nice. Get a little rotate in there. Maybe just do a quick mirror so that we can kind of look at these together, figure them out at once. And maybe we can look up some pictures of some fox ears to get a little bit better idea of silhouette and position if we want to tweak that. I kind of like the direction and position that I have in my concept image though, so I think I'm gonna try to stick with that a little bit better here. Maybe make these a little bit larger. I want to, in all honesty, I want to try to round these out, these edges on this piece. Not quite like that. I want to try to round out this front and back edge and try to keep this inner edge hard. So I might try to do something with a Boolean subtraction so that I can come to this piece, subdivide it a few times, try to smooth it out, try to tweak that form a little bit, and then get that really hard edge in there with a live Boolean. That's really what's great about the new live Boolean system, is that it allows you to do stuff that really wasn't possible before unless you used Dynamesh subtractions, which really is kind of a shame because it still is a pain to kind of work with those tools, and it can be really frustrating, I know. All the time that I've spent in the past working on stuff that has to be jointed and animated for like an amusement park character or something like that, it's such a pain in the ass to not be able to see exactly what's going to happen from your Boolean that you're about to create. And it's a lot of trial and error and then waiting and then seeing that it failed and then trying again and again. But with the new live Boolean system, it's like you can visualize the whole thing and you know exactly what your result is going to be based on the changes that you make, and that is extremely powerful. Let's move this down. And I guess we'll rotate a little bit more. I'm gonna have to maybe add some curve to this as well to make that a little bit more appealing. Try to find a good place to rotate from. Let's see. Good wired mouse, wireless has its place, just not on my desk. Yes, I feel the exact same way. I definitely want that good old wired mouse. Most wireless mice aren't there's not as many options, I guess, I think, for wireless. Rohit, what's going on? Let's see, we're working on our Art War 2 character, of course. And getting some ears into position. And what I'm finding out is that I don't like the hard edges on this, and I want to round them out. But also, we just want to try to get more of that general position real quick before we do anything else. Figure that out a little bit better. I want to almost... I'm not worried about like that piece or anything. That's fine. I don't care if that isn't lining up. I'm just trying to look at the larger shapes right now and how things are working. How I kind of want this to slot in with the hair, and maybe I can get that to turn a little bit better there. Let's do this. Actually, I want this to look like it's sitting on top. Tweaking some birds. I'm gonna try to kind of replicate this shape a little bit here. And probably just end up dynameshing this piece and then manually, as we like to do, sculpt over top. This geometry is really small, so it requires a pretty large dynamesh for us to be able to modify. I think it's actually going to be more lucrative for us to do an extraction to get it to conform to the head initially, and I think that'll give us a little bit of a better shape overall, so that it can kind of conform again to the shape of the head, which is going to be really hard for us to just kind of match unless we use something like the Matchmaker brush, which I'm not a huge fan of, all in all. So yeah, I think I do want to try to soften this edge and try to keep that hard edge in there with a boolean, a live boolean. So I'm actually going to duplicate this piece and get this geometry in here. And I'll show you something really cool. So we're just selecting all these vertices here. We'll turn on double. And what we want is just this edge. So delete hidden. We want only this. And it looks like we're pretty close here. I think we got it. And from there, we're going to do a Z modeler and an extraction or extrude and a poly loop. And pull that up and out. And let's delete edge loop. It's fine. Delete edge loop. Some of these are going to cause some issues, so we'll just delete a couple edge loops to make sure that when we extrude, we don't get anything too funky. Alright, so a little bit of deleting the edge loops and then extruding out. And I'm just going to pull that. And I'm going to have to do some creasing on those inner edges, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. But for the most part, that's what we're looking for. Let me turn off double, just make sure all my polys are facing the correct way. You can see that that's pulled up and out a little. Not exactly what we want there. So let's realign some stuff. And we'll just kind of transpose it back. And that should give us a pretty decent subtraction there. So crease, edge loop. I just want to make sure that these edge loops are creased here. Here. We want that hard shape subtraction. Just make sure we get all those. And here as well, make sure that that's creased. Alright, now back to this shape. All I'm going to do is come into this middle edge, hover over it, and delete the edge loop. And make sure I click the actual edge there. And we can actually delete this edge loop as well. And now if I set this piece to subtraction and turn on live boolean, you can see that we're getting the exact same result that we were previously. But now what we can do is we can modify this mesh and actually smooth it out and still get that subtraction in the middle. So that's kind of what we're aiming to accomplish here. So we're going to do a little bit of tweaking to this shape, as well as that live Boolean subtraction that we just created. So it looks like we're getting a little bit thin in some of these areas and not working out too well, so let's take a look. I think we just need to maybe pull in our edge here, or actually what might be better is just pulling down on this one. And just finding a good place for that. Gotta find a good balance. Looks pretty good. And those lower edges will move in just a little bit as well. And I think, all right. So again, now I have this geometry, which is at a low subdivision level. It does have some bevels in here, so that's kind of bevels and creasing actually, which is what's retaining that really hard edge. But if I want to soften that edge, I can subdivide up a few times and try just manually smoothing this out if I would like to. I can also come through and just use a deformation down in your deformation palette in the tool palette and do a relax, which will relax your edges. I find that it's not too great most of the time, not too accurate. Looks like we really had a problem with this back edge. Really smoothing out hard there. Huh. That's not terrible though. Usac says, what did I miss? Heating some water to make a coffee. It sounds like a good idea. I just had some tea, helped my throat out a little bit. But nope, nothing really. Just doing some live Boolean stuff. Ooh, let's turn on our head. Trying to make some mechanical techie ears. And playing with some shapes right now. Trying to find something that I like here in the silhouette. Definitely don't like that. Do we have dynamic turned on? Nope. So live Boolean tends to cause quite a bit of lag if you have it on while you're sculpting. So I prefer to keep it off most of the time, but sometimes it's inevitable and you can't really avoid it, which is unfortunate. But at least for me, that's just the case a lot of the time. So you can see that lag that I'm getting there. That's pretty frustrating to work with. But I think just toggling it off is the best solution. I don't really need to visualize this negative right now, so I can turn it off without worry. And you can kind of toggle that off so that it's not visually appearing on your mesh, and you shouldn't receive that lag anymore. If you still are, just come up and toggle off live Boolean, and that's typically what I do when I'm getting that lag. The first thing I do though is check to make sure that dynamic is not turned on. Because that tends to be the case of lag when you're sculpting on something that's pretty simple and should not be giving you any lag. Something that's like 16,000 polys. If you're receiving lag on that, maybe you need a new computer or something, because you should not be, at least. So. How do we want to do this? I want to get some rounded edges. There's some sharp edges I want to crease and keep tight. The form of this is a little unspecified. So I think just more so playing with it than anything else is going to be the best option. And that means for me, going to our good old friend, the Dynamesh, the Dino Mesh, and playing around. I could like write this up and do some mirroring to play with it more, but you know what? I don't really care that much if it's not symmetrical. I think that's actually a little bit better for something like this. I can try to do what I can, but for the most part, we'll just kind of sculpt away, try to round out some forms where we want them, try to crease them a little bit more where we don't, and see what we can come up with. And I can kind of visualize this shape here as well without doing the actual live Boolean subtraction, and that should help out. Jury, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Says, why are you sculpting without Dynamesh? It's DY, like dynamic mesh is what it stands for right down here. I use Dynamesh a lot, and I actually just was using Dynamesh. What do you mean, why are you sculpting without Dynamesh? Dynamesh is definitely not a requirement for sculpting form in ZBrush, nor is it a necessity. But we will be using Dynamesh, and I have been using Dynamesh. Come check out a stream, a Dynamesh stream. We're working all over the place. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here. In our I think it was our last stream, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, we were playing with doing some ZBrush quick topology on our face here. If you guys are familiar with using polygroups to create some edge flow, that's what we were playing with, as well as creating a mouth bag. So a mouth bag is a great way so that you can open and close your mouth of your character and not have to worry too much about the lips getting stuck together. So that's what, I believe that was the last stream. Again, somebody can correct me, as I am quite forgetful on these things. But yes, lots of Dynamesh beforehand going on there. Lots of merging of the lips together. And I want to put some teeth in there, so gotta be able to split that bad boy up. Let's see. Katie says, just finished Retopo UV and managed to finish with 2.5K polys. Plenty of space for hair and clothes. That's awesome. Congrats on getting to the next step in your character. Craig, what's going on? Higher Gun Games, go home, you're drunk, Jury. Well, that's not very nice. Look, maybe they are drunk, but maybe we're all drunk on life. Good for forming, not detailing. Any good anatomy images to pass on, can't find, and any to learn from. Yes, definitely. So, that was Craig. Sorry, thought that was somebody else. But yes, Craig, if you're not a part of the ZBrush Discord, lots of good stuff in there. Lots of people sharing different anatomy images, works in progress, stuff like that. But yes, that is a good place to find a community for that sort of content. I would check there, maybe ask there as well to find some good resources. So I'm using move back face masking there to kind of come in there on the shape. And look, Dynamesh. We got our Dynamesh on. And that's just to kind of get rid of, whoops, wanted to turn that on. Get rid of some quick crevasses and that sort of thing. Pinch that stuff together. I'm actually just gonna kind of fill that in. I'm trying to find a better silhouette and shape than what we had before, and then we can maybe go to a lower subdiv. But at least for the time being, I'm just trying to look at this from some different angles and get an idea of what I'm trying to create. I want to round this puppy out a little bit. So we're getting a little bit messy here, but that's what we like to do. Gotta get messy before we can get clean. Get real low in the polys here. And just enough to kind of retain some form. And start to round out this shape a little bit better. And we can, you know, toggle on live boolean. So as I round this out, you can see that I can still get those hard cuts in there, which is what we created that live boolean piece for. So we will definitely want to mess with that a little bit too. So let's toggle that off here, and want to try to let's try to get a little bit of some foxier shape here. So I want to try to get, we have a little bit of some stair stepping, so I want to get like this 1, 2, 3 kind of, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing going on here. Maybe get up, pinch in, which is kind of what we got going on, is the basic shape here, but we can maybe feather that out a little bit and do some other stuff with that. I don't want them to look like fox ears. I want them to look like mechanical pieces of equipment, like what we got over here, but not quite in this style and design. Similar though, similar for sure. So let's play with this shape a little bit more. Craig, what's the Discord? Go to the About page of my YouTube channel and you will find it there. So YouTube channel, which you're already on, I believe. Yep, you're watching on YouTube. Go to my About page, and it'll say ZBrush Discord channel. Click that. Keith Corn. Some corn. Well, welcome to the stream, my corny friend. Hired Gun, love to see everyone's amazing art from Art War. Thinking of making myself with a weapon that is a stylus. That's a good idea. I like that a lot. That would be fun. I'd love to see that. Alright. We're gonna get some low poly. Low poly folly. And try to figure out. So I'm going to try to get these soft transitional shapes that I want first, and then try to go a little bit more into that hard surface after the fact. So first, with that, and I think I want to make these shorter as well. Try to lower this. Might want to redo that live boolean hard mesh that we have as well, so we tweak this a little bit more. Let's try, let's see, what's gonna be the best way to do this quickly? I think just doing a quick transpose so that I can shrink all this down at once. And then use my transpose tool to do a little bit of a move here. So grab these guys, this one, and do a little, just scale down, scale in, or even let's try that. Let's see here. Why did you stop streaming from Twitch? Says Hired Gun Games. I haven't streamed from Twitch in a very long time, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. I still do stream on Twitch. The service I use is called Restream.io. I mainly keep on YouTube, and most of the people watching, as you can see, are on YouTube, because that's where I think most of the people see my videos, my tutorials, and all that sort of thing. But yes, it is still streaming on Twitch actually right now as we speak. You can see some people in the chat will post from YouTube mainly, also Twitch and Picarto. Twitch is a barren wasteland where no one creative streams anymore. That's because, well, actually Twitch and everywhere on the internet, most streamers just care about video games. It's like looking at the movie Road Warrior with less road. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, so let's see. We kind of moved that in, kind of tweaked that form a little bit. Let's kind of try to play with it a little bit more here. Try to bring out that edge. A little bit more around this. Trying to get that nice curve, as you can see. We're trying to get it. I think I'm just gonna turn this off for now. Not really adding much to the form. And we're getting there, we're getting there. I'm starting to like the shape. And again, I'll tweak that live boolean piece that we have there to get a little bit of a nicer subtraction there. But as long as this form is looking clean, we're in a better place for sure. Try to look at this from the top view. Move our light so I can see that shape a little bit better there. Let's see here. Danny Hensley says, testing. I'm on YouTube and Twitch. Double freedom. Oh, man. Hired Gun Game says, now I'm over here. That's right. Yeah, so what's great about Twitch is that you can use the hashtag ArtStation and let people on ArtStation know when you are streaming. Honestly, that's pretty much one of the only reasons I stream to Twitch, to let people on my ArtStation that follow me there and people that just check the streaming page on ArtStation. You, to my knowledge, can't do that on other streaming services. I'm fairly certain ArtStation is only paired with Twitch at this time. But yeah, that's definitely. I used to stream exclusively on Twitch, but that was a while ago, and I stopped streaming quite as much. But yes, we stream quite a lot now. Get a little bit more roundness to this edge. How long have you been sculpting? You have clean forms. And I don't just mean the sculpt. Well, thank you. Somebody told me, it was more of a joke, but they said, they were looking at the character and said, "Nice boobs." And I said, well, thank you. You know, I didn't do anything special today, but, oh, we need to move our light. I've been sculpting since, I guess around, I'm trying to think, January 2013, January 2014. I think January 2014 is right when I started. So I should be like right at 4 years of sculpting in ZBrush. But before that, I did absolutely nothing with art. Literally nothing with art. Never drew, still don't draw. So, you know, any drawing that I do is few and far between. So yeah, kind of all eggs in one basket kind of deal. I liked ZBrush. I saw a lot of really awesome character art online, some really cool digital sculptures, and I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I'm gonna do it. And that's what we did. I'm kind of within the encampment of you gotta pick what you want to do, or else somebody else is gonna pick what you do for you, and that sounds pretty terrible to me. But yes, sculpting clean forms, and kind of my background is working on toys for the past 2-ish years. So my goal when I started learning ZBrush was to get a full-time job sculpting in ZBrush within 2 years of starting, and I hadn't done anything in art before that. So that was my goal, and I achieved that goal right, I think 3 months before my 2-year mark. So 1 year and 9 months of sculpting just every day and trying to learn what I was doing. And then I got a job working on toys, amusement park figures, life-size amusement park figures, and life-size museum figures full-time in Cincinnati, Ohio. And left that job by my own accord at the beginning of 2017. And now I do a lot of working on my own art, some freelance, but I'm trying to focus as much as my time as possible on this Art War challenge right now, and on this character. And just hanging out, streaming, hanging out with you guys, which is always really fun. And if I can, you know, work on my own stuff, and also be able to stream and hang out and not work all by my lonesome, I think that's a win-win. So I can share some of the stuff that I know with you guys, some of the people that are maybe newer, don't know a lot about ZBrush, and also just be able to get some work done. But yeah, that's the Spark Notes. Danny says, sculpting since 09. Have you turned any of your sculpts into game-ready creations? Yeah, back in the day. That's exclusively like what I was into, what I was interested in. Now I'm not really interested in that so much anymore. More of just trying to improve my art from a strictly sculptural perspective. But yeah, I have a lot of experience with getting stuff ready for 3D print, which influences the way that I work quite a bit. So that's how I've been doing it. Katie only used ZBrush for a few months now, 9 years in Blender, and a few years sculpting from there. Improved a lot since jumping over to ZBrush. Toys are something I want to get into as well. Spending a year trying to learn ZBrush. Kind of learned all, not much, and becoming disheartened as I can't comprehend anatomy. Well, anatomy is a tool, you know. I say this a lot, and a lot of I think Scott Eden is the one who says this the most. Anatomy is a tool, and it's definitely not necessary, but you got to leverage those tools as best you can. Immortal, what's going on, dude? How's the no dying thing going? Disheartened, yes, I picked up on it. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to learn anatomy, I would say, and I think it comes with a lot of study. And you're never gonna reach a point where you're just like, I know anatomy. I did it, guys. I now know anatomy. You're never gonna reach that point. You're going to eventually reach a point where you can get some really good results without looking at reference, just based on your mental visual library and knowledge of those forms. But by all means, you're always going to have better results by using that reference, and that's true for anything. And references are, I think, a necessity for whatever you're working on. Your work will always be better for it. A master sculptor, I've said this before, that a master sculptor, of course, can maybe sculpt, let's say a master sculptor, someone who's just been sculpting their entire life, can sculpt better than you can, not using reference, with you using reference. But their work will always be better than not using reference if they did use reference. So, more of a comparison against yourself than a comparison against other artists. Lots of study. Small studies, for sure. Yes, learn the anatomy. Join the ZBrush Discord. Definitely, please. We'd love to have you join and hang out. Whew, arm's sore. BetterTV.net/emote. Yeah, the emotes don't really pop up in there too well. Let's single this out. And also, did I delete? I did delete that inner piece. Okay, so we're getting some forms in here that are definitely, I think, going in the right direction. But now it's coming to a head where we need to do the sharpening of some points and the hardening, or I'm sorry, the sharpening of some transitions, which is kind of what I've started doing here, and the softening of others. So trying to get a good blend here, and that's a tough thing to do. But I'll show you some of my tricks for doing that stuff, so that sort of thing. So back here, I want this edge to transition a little bit better. I want it to be more rounded in the back. A little bit of warble, uneven surface going on up here. You guys can see that probably. Stuff we want to avoid, just in general. Alright. So, some of these tricks to get some hard surface transitions. I'm going to use polygroups to hopefully get a more clean edge. And this is going to be a little bit tough for this shape. So let's try separating this inner ear piece first, just using some of our selection tools. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be as, close to this edge as I can get it. If I want it to be a little bit closer, I would just use a slice brush instead. Craig ignored my hello, this hurts my heart. You already have a Discord account trying to join from. Should be able to join up. I believe that link is the correct one. If it's not working, please do let me know, and I can update that link. Should be working though. Well, let's turn on double so we can see back-facing polys there. Make a tutorial for hard surface modeling in ZBrush and make a robot model. I've done some hard surface tutorials in the past and a lot on the stream, but a robot in the future might be fun. I like that idea. We'll have to see though, as we need to finish our Art War character first. I have a giant list of all sorts of tutorials and videos that I'm looking to make. Alright, so essentially just Control W, polygroup that, different polygroup there, you can hide that one, and I think we'll just try to run a slice curve. See how that does. We'll try that. And see how this interprets. So just a Z-remesh. Keep groups on. Let's try as low as possible first. See what kind of results we get. So that keep groups option is going to attempt to get the edge flow to follow those poly loops or poly groups. A little bit messy. It's kind of interpreting some weird stuff and trying to, you know what? I think I know what I need to do. I think it's still gonna do it. Not as bad, but I think we can get a little bit of a cleaner interaction by doing this instead, and just slicing it with all these visible. Try to line that up, and try to slice one more time. So now we have 4 polygroups, and we'll try that. It's letting me join as a newbie, not from your account. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's maybe you're not signed in. If you don't use the desktop app, maybe you're not signed in on the browser. Holy crap. That's worse than before. You can kind of do some softening of forms by continually remeshing the same piece, but you start to lose your primary shapes really quick when you do that after like two remeshes. I say we go back to what we had previously. On the 1K remesh, and say that that's good enough, and work on that. Trying to interpret what's going on there as best as it can. It just creates an extra edge. It's so annoying. Let's do... Ooh, this is so close. Try this. I think that worked pretty well. Let's see how much of the form we... Oh, that's actually not bad for a quick little auto retopo. If we drop that, what do we get? This garbage. You're so clean. Why you gotta do this? You don't have an extra polygroup down there. I don't care if it like screws up the topology. I just don't want it to add extra polygroups. Turn off transparency and turn off the extra one. Alright, and then from here, select this one, go into the crease palette and crease it. And then I should only have to select one of these, I think. Or actually, can I do instead a crease edge loop? Crease edge loop. You still... Oh, okay. Okay. Let's try this. Ooh, that's fun. That's fun up there. That's fine. Okay, crease edge loop. How are you still turning this edge? ZBrush, why you do this? What is this? So something along those lines. If I can, I would like to delete some edge loops from here because it gets really tight. The unfortunate thing is that there's such a mess of polys up there that if I try to do this, it's... Ooh, that one actually turned out pretty well. That was exactly what I wanted. There's such a mess of polys at the top that the edge loop flow is going to take it every which way, and I'm not going to be able to get too great of a result by doing that, unfortunately. It's weird that it uncreased these edges, but I am more happy with this result, so I'm going to just recrease these. So that's quite nice that that worked out for us. And with just a quick little result there, we can clean all that up. And maybe, you know, point this up a little bit too. Doesn't have to be perfect, as most of that is so small. I'm just going to delete the other piece. I'm not even going to project, just because we have some real clean stuff going on here. And we can maybe mess with that a little bit better. But let's get to a point where we can do some live Boolean actions. And we got some nice polygroups here, which is pretty nice for us so that we can make some good selections and maybe tweak our mesh in some of these places. Clean it up. Try to make it a little bit better edge flow, a little bit more clean, which is what we like. The cleaner, the better. I'm just kind of using a trim brush to push in here a little bit and modify the surface. I want to be careful that this doesn't crease too much in the middle where that flow is happening. As you can see there, bulging up a little. Just kind of take a trim brush to it, knock it down. Try to soften a little bit of the edge here so it's not quite as sharp. Still sharp though. Just doesn't need to be a perfectly tight transition. Most of the time, it doesn't look too great. Let's see here. Craig needs to be sent an instant invite to connect. I'm not sure. I thought that's what that link was, but I'm not positive. Katie says, reason why I always manual retopo. Well, manual retopo takes quite a bit of time, and it's typically for, you know, animation and everything else, but we've got a pretty good result here that I am happy with, and I can modify, get to an even better place if we need to. Got it sorted! Oh, that was quick. Well, thank you. Thank you for anybody that helped Craig out there. But glad you're in, and absolutely. Freaking looking for some critique or help or whatever else, that's the place to do it. So I want to push this in a little bit, form around that hair a little bit better, and just do a little bit of tweaking. Now you can mirror and weld with something like this, but what I typically like to use, if I have subdivs, you know, I could delete low or mirror and weld and reconstruct. That's fine, that's fine. But the Subtool Master mirror does all of that for you automatically. The only thing that I don't like about the Subtool Master operations is that they create extra geometry in your ZBrush project, which you can see here. Got some extra pieces. And this one is from Transpose Master. So this can kind of, if you're saving a ZBrush project, which you shouldn't be, if you have seen my videos in the past, you should not be saving that way. You should always be saving a Z tool, unless you have a good reason to be saving a project. But that can make your project file bulk up. It can also make your quick save files bulk up, because quick saves are by default, you know, ZBrush projects. So if you're saving with ZBrush projects, if this is how you save your file, ask yourself, why do you do that? And if you don't have an answer for that, come over here and click File, Save As instead. Ooh, okay, so we got a little bit of a problem here with polygrouping. So not an issue. Just kind of do this a little bit again. Hope that help that edge. A little light move. And we still have our Boolean subtraction piece up here. So live Boolean toggled on. And get a nice, cool, clean cut and subtraction in there if that's something that we're looking for. We can play around with that a little bit, I think, and see what we can do. Maybe add an extra notch in there to kind of conform to that shape a little bit better. And on this side, I'm pretty happy with that depth. So let's do this upper mark as well. And pull that up. And pull out these outer edges a little bit. Might have got a little bit too soft in the transition up here. I'm not sure. Let's try it quick. So quick light pinch in. Back to that Boolean. Let's see. Not sure if I like how deep it gets over here. You can see we have a little bit more of a rounded shape now. Let's move this up. Do actually like that. I just want to pull this out, I guess. See if we can make that a little bit less deep. Maybe add an extra notch. Let's see. Always save a project, but turn off history. It's off by default, but the question is, why are you saving as a ZBrush project? Fun fact, if you're saving a ZBrush project, doing File, Save As, your file size is going to be 10 times larger than if you just save a Z tool. Saving the Z tool is, I would say, the preferred method for saving your ZBrush work. But yes, I would say, yeah, maybe if you do have a reason for saving a ZBrush project, the only other reason other than saving your undo history typically is to save multiple tools at once. But if you're only working on a single tool, even if I was working on multiple tools at once, which is extremely rare, I would not be saving as a ZBrush project. I would most likely be saving as a Z tool and save separate Z tools, just because they're 1/10 of the file size. Literally 1/10 of the file size of a ZBrush project, which is incredible. I think a lot of people get confused by the default, you know, file save as. That's how every other program works, right? So that's how you're supposed to save. That's you know, in a program the save option is under file. Well, tool save as is a lot better, unless I'd say the only reason in case for me saving as a ZBrush project is to save my undo history. And if you check this, actually, your quick saves will save your undo history as well, which can be helpful sometimes. Most of the time I don't need undos really at all. I can just, you know, redo anything that gets lost in half the time it took me to do it the first time, because I've already, you know, done it once. Makes it a lot easier. And it's not worth saving these ginormous files in my quick save folder as well, as that fills up pretty quick. Let's see. Craig says that I still get mixed up in the document and tool. Oh no! Yeah, definitely don't save your document. That's just gonna save, you know, a flat image of your work. That's not what you want. That would be very unfortunate. Yeah, you know, just understanding that the kind of language of ZBrush, that, you know, geometry, all these things, these are called tools and subtools, and that's what you want to save. You want to save the Z tool that you are working on. But yes, I can see how that could be confusing for sure. And Katie says, I tend to override the project after my retopo, so the file size doesn't get very high. That's also a good idea. I am someone that is a person that saves a bunch of files of whatever they're working on, so that you can always roll back to older versions if you miss something or lose something. So let's see here. So here's my ZBrush folder for this character as we've been working on it, and you can see that just ZBrush project files, I've been saving 1, 1B, 1C, 2, blah 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 blah. Normally I'll just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've been saving a bunch for this one, but as I go, you know, as I reach a certain point, I'll come through here and delete all of these and just keep, you know, my most recent, or typically like if I'm sculpting a character for like a toy or something, I'll save at the very end only the neutral pose and the posed version, and then I'll delete all the other garbage. But this is a good idea, I think, for people that are attempting to look for some good strategies for making sure that you don't lose work. Backing up files is also super important. If you guys don't do that, I set up the entire system at my old company, Sculpting Toys, for backing up our work, because they hadn't been backing up any of their client work for the past while. we'll just say for quite a while. But they are all backed up now and continue to be backed up, to my knowledge. After I left, the system and everything was still working nice and dandy. But we're talking about a lot of data there that needed to be backed up, and just recursively. What is going on there? I have to move that edge. But yeah, just a bunch of stuff that needed to be backed up. Live Boolean is messing with my brain. I'm gonna do a mirror and weld there so we get both of those. And I just kind of want to visualize this a little bit. I think I want to make the angle changes here a little more drastic, kind of make it a little bit more interesting. So let's try that. Come through here, try to get some really cool angles going on, try to make them a little bit more sharp, a little more exaggerated. Looking cool. And we'll add those other techie pieces on here. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Live Boolean, I gotta say. There's just so much power and great stuff that you can do with this. This is one of my favorite additions to ZBrush in recent years. Minus the Z Modeler brush and all that tool set. This is just awesome. So yeah, so some cool stuff going on here. I think that looks really neat. Now with those kind of harder turns going on in the surface, taking an extra step over here, I'm gonna slide this forward a little bit, you know, exaggerate that even a little bit more maybe. And we can look at creating some other hard surface parts for these, as they are supposed to be more of these, you know, techie kind of ears, these pieces of technology that enhance her hearing, we'll say. Let's see here. Missed a lot. Somebody deleted their Facebook. That sounds like a really good idea. Yes, Katie is a mod in the ZBrush Discord. We have moderators now. It's a good time. What a small 3D world we live in. Absolutely. It is quite small. Everybody knows everybody. Seems like, at least. Yeah, you'd be surprised that the AAA, you know, industry, quotes, is pretty small as well. It seems that, you know, most people, at least in art, tend to know a lot of people as well, especially with the advent of websites like CG Society, ArtStation, all those. Really, just being able to share your work so prevalently online and have people see it so quickly, you know. It's a small world. It's a small world after all. I'm wondering if I want to kind of depress in this edge. Not edge, but that face a little bit. Ooh, you know what? I think I'm going to do a hard surface thing here as well. But yes, so some tech harder surface edges. So I was showing you guys this before. Try to do something hard and rounded like this. Maybe not exactly that, because I want it to look like... I don't know if I want it to look like it's embedded in the character, or what. But this is more of, you know, toon style, so we can't go super crazy with it. I'm going to turn off live boolean for the time being, just because it gets really laggy. So I'm just going to toggle that off. But I will want to visualize this after I start making this piece. So I'm going to try doing a curved tube first here. Try a brush mod of 4. If you guys don't know what this does, it creates the curved tube brush and makes it into a square. Like so. Let's see. Still wondering why you made me a mod? Well, we needed some moderators. There was an outcry for them. And I've been, you know, a part of these types of communities for a while. And, you know, every once in a while there's an outcry for something new. And if you give it to people, and maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not. It really doesn't matter. But you know, that thing tends to maybe not be taken for granted, but oh gosh, we messed up real bad. But you know, you give people that thing like moderators. We really need mods in this community. But really, you know, there's 1,300 people in the community, not nearly as many active members all the time, and I still, even at this point, think that a few mods, maybe like one moderator is necessary. I wouldn't even use the word necessary, to be completely honest. But I think for these small outlier cases where one time one thing does go wrong and people get upset, I'm a person that is like, okay, well, that was like an outlier case and it's fine. Like, this stuff doesn't happen very often, and I can, you know, step in when I get back, because I'm not available all the time for the community. But you know, having mods for random outlier cases, you know, you can argue that that's a good thing or a bad thing. But you know, I think that you personally have good judgment, and I think your heart's in the right place. And I think that, you know, the people that we have selected are people that are willing to, you know, they're members of the community for a little while, and they're definitely willing to step up and step in when the situation calls for it, which I believe is still very rare, but you know, there are situations where that does need to happen. And like I said, I'm not always available, and I think you're a good person for that job, absolutely. But that's why you're a mod. That's why, you know, that's why everybody that is a mod, because I believe that they can do a good job and help out the community when those little outlier cases do arise, which I think are, again, like I said, few and far between, but they do happen, and I can't always be there to, you know, kick out the super racist person that just popped in just to troll people for no reason. So, you know, shit happens on the internet. There are shitty people. There are people that are, you know, out there with shit intent, and I guess you gotta have some mods, kick some butt every once in a while. But yes, Craig, gotta go. Hopefully you do come back. We're gonna do a night stream tonight. It is Monday. Monday is night stream day and night. Tomorrow, just to let you guys know, tomorrow I'm not sure if I'll be streaming in the morning. I'll probably have some more information tonight by the night stream. But I'm helping my girlfriend move into her new apartment, so I might not be able to be around. So I apologize for that. I cannot get this to move. But yes, subscribe or follow me on Twitter if you guys want to be notified of future streams. The correct answer is, you stood out as an individual who gets me. Well, Hired Gun Games, it's not about me, it's about the ZBrush community. It's not a ZBrush Discord for me. It's not my community. It's, you know, our community. It's the, you know, if you're not a part of the ZBrush Discord, you know, this is where is it? This is not the official ZBrush Discord. There is an official ZBrush Discord, but this is a community-managed ZBrush Discord. I remember when Discord first came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for ZBrush, because there's really not, I feel like, a good quick like chat method for us to be able to chat with everybody. There's not a scenario where that exists, and yes, there are forums for it, but I think I think Discord would be a great place for that to happen. So I just made it one day and shouted it out, and a bunch of people started joining. You know, it's not my personal Discord. It's not the Follygon Discord channel, but there isn't a Follygon Discord channel. You know, but yeah, it's for the community. It's not about me and about getting me. It's about, you know, having a heart for the community. And I absolutely believe that Katie and everybody else have that, for sure. Yes, so again, someone who can reflect my values and laws of my channel. Yeah, it's not, yeah, I think, I'm assuming that you're not a member of the community, which is fine. But just to be clear, yeah, it's not a Follygon Discord. Although, you know, if I highly doubt that that's something that people want. But maybe in the future. I'm not really one to. I'm not a. Yeah, I don't know. That just seems kind of strange, at least to me right now. But yes, if I did, I guess, have a Follygon Discord, it would be all about me and my values. Alright, let's do some creasing as we try to make this better. And again, this is a subtraction piece up here. The way this works in the chain is that anything above this piece is going to take on this subtraction, which is why this piece is below it, so that it's not taking on that subtraction. If I move this up, there we go. That was weird. I had to move the camera. I was like so confused. I was like, why didn't that work? Yes, if I move that up, you'll see that it takes on that subtraction as well. Move that down, no longer taking that subtraction. I was like, my whole world was just rocked for a minute where I was like, have I been doing this wrong this whole time? No, but yeah, if it's below it in the chain, it doesn't get affected by it. You can also do some stuff with creating some parent groups and stuff like that as well. Let's see here. I want to create a little bit of a hard edge going around here, so I think doing an edge loop complete. Let's see. So poly, insert poly loop, poly loop. And that is creased for us, which is what we want here first off. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Just grabbing these outside edges if I can. A little bit awkward. I'm just gonna do a little pull here with a tiny move brush. Do this one quick little vert at a time. Holding the Alt key while using your move tool, pulls out perpendicular to that normal, which can be helpful. Typically I use that on high poly stuff when I'm sculpting, but in this case, some low poly little tweaks work as well. Works pretty well. Get a nice little crease running up through there, and I can try to, that's really what I love about ZModeler and doing some poly modeling here in ZBrush. That you can use all your standard ZBrush tools within the mix. It makes it really cool. So I think I want to wrap and pull that edge right into the surface there. Kind of like it's wrapping into it. So we've kind of done on this lower side. Really need to learn how to use the ZModeler tool. It's not too crazy. Pretty much just hold the space bar with whatever you want to affect. If you want to affect a face, edge, or vertice, hover over that and hold the space bar and choose the thing you want. There's not too many options in here, and if you've done poly modeling in the past, I think you can catch on to it pretty quick. I think a lot of people just get a little nervous by, whoo, that's a lot of stuff going on in there, but really it's not much. It's like, oh, I want to extrude. Okay. Cool beans. Let's do an extrusion. And wrap that in there. Try to line that up, like so. Trying to tweak this edge, pull it in. Kind of hard here. Yeah, trying to avoid that bleed from the other piece. It's coming through. Don't want that. And if I can shift this one. They made an entire one-picture guide for the Z Modeler tool. That sounds like a very large picture. That sounds hilarious. I would love to see that as well. I feel like there's so many options though, to where fitting that all in one pic would be pretty crazy. And get that to turn a little sharper, that would be preferred. Closer. And now to get some additional geometry in here to make that transition look a little less awkward. Right through there. Posted it in the Discord and off topic. I'll definitely check it out as well. Let's see how large this puppy is. Function diagram. It looks like there's some Japanese as well. It's very interesting. I don't know if this is the whole image. I would assume not, since this is kind of... There's some nano mesh, poly loops. Very interesting. Alright, so let's get a tertiary piece in here to make that transition look a little less awkward, like I said. I also want to try to do another negative on the front of this ear, and I'm kind of thinking about how I want to do that. Let's try what we did previously, which is grabbing this vertex, this poly group. Trying to make an extrusion out of this piece. I have double turned on so we can see back face polys. Let's try getting rid of a few poly loops. Alright, and let's try modifying our shape. And also doing an extrusion. I'll modify this a little bit more before I do that though. And we'll use this as a live boolean piece. And I think our tip there is a little bit too high. Kind of want to bring all these edges in, and I think the easiest, quick way to do that is just with a quick scale in with local symmetry turned on. Turn on transparency so I can see a little bit better. Ghost mode so that I can actually modify the geometry. And an extrusion, extrude all polygons. So that I can get all that good stuff going on there. All right, and let's do some creasing. Got some nice creases going on there already. Maybe try a hard edge. I don't know. Let's see what the negative is gonna look like here first. As we play with this. KSA, Mr. John, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Need some Retapa plus bakes. For what? We're working on the art war, dog. It's art war day. Every day is art war day, though, if you think about it. So you can see here that this subtraction is actually cutting into the head because the head is above that in the subtool chain. So that's not good. We don't want that to happen. So I'm going to take the head and just shift it down to our hair piece here. And then that subtraction should not be happening anymore. Perfect. Play with the thickness a little bit here around the edge, and again let's try to get a third piece of geometry, kind of making that transition look a little bit less awkward. Make this into a game character and you'll be making tons of money, baby. I disagree wholeheartedly, but thank you. I appreciate that you have so much faith in my character that we're working on. We gotta finish the character though first. That's, you know, step one. Step one, finish the char, as we say. Step two, make it game ready. But we're not going to be going that route today. Really trying to clean that up. There's still some warble that I'm not too happy with. I'm wondering if I delete this edge loop. Just want that to be clean as possible. As clean as possible. Alright, another thing that we want to do here, as we can, I don't really know what shape this piece is going to take quite yet. So in all honesty, let's grab a sphere and go to town. The one thing that I do not miss about my old mouse is the drift that it had. All the time it would just get some random drift and then my mouse cursor would just go sliding off the screens. And it did that since day one. For those wondering, it was like the Miox? I don't know, I can look it up. Not a great mouse. Ergonomically, it felt really good to hold, and that was probably its only redeeming factor. John, why are you so sad? Your little chickpea sad face. I'm not a huge fan of the Android. I think those are the Android emoticons, aren't they? The little chicklet dudes, the little gumdrop boy, whatever it is. He looks like a little gumdrop or something. Are those the Android ones? Not sure. I'm trying to find an interesting shape here. Kind of just playing around in the mud right now, trying to find something that I like, and doing some tweaking here and there. Let's see. Try something sharp. That's enough of that. I'm just using some slice brushes to attempt to... Oh, slowing down, getting the leg going. Let's turn off live boolean. We got a lot of geometry visible too. So just trying to use that slice curve brush to create some interesting transitions and forms. Stuff that's nice and hard and clean, that's what we like to see. Make this into a VR chat character. I'd need a VR headset, right? I know you don't need one to play, but I know it's not the same without one. Hi all, hey Jamie, Mr. Cooper, welcome to the stream. Tend to have an addiction for perfect baking. Katie says use X normal, 1632-bit RGBA. You get super clean results. It's not a bad tip. I used to use X normal back in the day for when I was doing a lot of that kind of work. Oh no, 1632-bit PNG is what Katie says. And Zenith, is that piece going to function like good the microphone sponges? I have I have no idea exactly what that means. Is that piece going to function like the microphone sponges? I don't know what a microphone sponge is, but possibly. They're meant to increase the character's ability to hear, so I don't know if that's the same thing that you're talking about. Let's try to get a little bit of a better angle there. Don't want it to match, but just try to play around with some different stuff here, like I said. Not really a fan of that, actually. Let's go back to this piece. I'm going to turn off my, well, I'm going to turn off everything except for these. Turn our live booleans back on. And try to find a form again that we like. So I'm just playing, whoops, delete hidden close holes. So essentially what I'm doing is using the slice curve brush. You can also, if you want, use the trim curve, which does essentially what I'm doing here. It'll close holes for you and do that operation for you. I prefer to kind of do it manually most of the time, for the simple fact that I have a little bit more control over my mesh and what's happening with it. Let's try to get a little stair step here. Plus, sometimes, you know, you got the brush going the wrong direction and you want it to slice that way, but it slices that way, and a little frustrating. Topogon, or Topogun, as I say. Yeah, I've personally never used Topogun, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm going to show you guys a little trick here. I'm just trying to match this angle a little bit. I can just do this, match that angle perfectly. Using my transpose tool, clicking on the normal, and then clicking that inner white circle of that first circle there, or inner yellow circle, clicking the red circle in that yellow circle, and then getting that to take effect. All right, let's find something here. I'm gonna turn on just my head, just so I can see how that's transitioning into the form there. And again, back to trying to find a shape. Jamie Cooper says, what Cintiq are you using? If you look down in the description, there's a link to all of my tools and technologies and such that I use to stream, sculpt, and all that jazz. And some book recommendations for ZBrush as well. This is the 27 QHD, I believe. Yes, I believe, I don't even, see, look, I don't even know. It's the 27 whichever one's the biggest currently available. 24 or 27. So if there's a 27, it's the 27. Aw, see, wanted that to go the other way. Try to find a better angle here. Whoa, that's strange. There we go, that's kind of what I was trying to get that entire time. See, we went the wrong way. Trying to kind of round this edge and find something there. I don't know if I like that though. So you can see how you can kind of experiment really quick here just by slicing around town. And if I can, we'll just use move back face mask to kind of quickly and dirtily fill that in. The more you do this though, and the more you get this kind of geometry, the closer you'll get to crashing ZBrush though. Eventually, you know, I don't want to do it to illustrate a point, but it can get so messy and so convoluted that eventually ZBrush just says, nope, don't know what the hell you're trying to do anymore. So kind of just playing around with some shapes here. I'm not really a huge fan of this. I want to maybe try something more rounded. Might be something we play with later. But I do want some kind of, I don't want to just, I don't like this. Let's try one more thing as we play with these ears. One thing I love, I think this came out with the ZModeler brush. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But when ZModeler came out, they also, yeah, I believe that's correct. They have this initialize palette down here for once you have Polymesh 3Ds created, and you can initialize into a variety of different shapes, such as a perfect cube, which is what I prefer creating. I create a 2-1-2 cylinder and a 6-sided cube quite often. Those are my main go-tos. And I created a brush in one of our streams. I probably should recreate it just so we have it for future work. But essentially what it is just a brush that has all the creasing on the cylinder done for you, so you don't have to like always go and redo that. Because I find that that's a shape that or a primitive shape that I create quite often. And kind of just line this up. Think about some different shapes that we can create here. I'm going to try to insert a poly loop. Make sure that that's correct. And try to move this up, slide along this edge. And I'm going to try to get some roundness to this as well. So let's undo that because the poly loop will follow that edge change that I made, and I don't want that to happen, so we'll make the change after adding the poly loop. And now pulling out this edge. So I'm going to kind of try to do the same shape language that we did here. just a little bit different, going the opposite direction. Maybe try to slide this down. And back. And of course we need some creasing. Play with something like this. Try to figure out how we want that to blend into the head a little bit. I don't know. Why so many programs? my wallet is not unlimited. Yes, I definitely feel you there. Let's see. Buy all the things. Yes. I'm a big fan of spending money on the things that you love. So I'm there, right there with you. See if I can slide this edge back a little bit more. This music just needs to go away. Kinda can't even hear myself think. Trying to round that more so. Get that to turn sharper. If I slide this up, I'll probably get a similar result here, so as it makes that edge turn sharper. Closer. A little hard to rotate with all those polys. Probably tweak the other edges that I have going on here as well. Just playing with pulling that around. It's one thing that I like about the transpose tool. With move selected, you can do a lot of quick tweaks. Snapping those vertices there together so that I can kind of pull this along its central axis and tweak it that way. Closer. And also pull in these outer edges. I don't know. Maybe just having that transition into the ear completely there. Just trying to find some interesting shape. Try to transition these a little bit differently as well. It was a little tough with this outer edge, though, if I remember correctly, as it started to peek through that geometry there. I think what I'll do is definitely move that in, and then just take our ear, and also slide this out of the way. Just so that's not peeking through there. Alright, and try to tweak this a little bit better. Just kind of trying to experiment. I'm not sure if I even really like this basic shape that I've created, kind of going counterpost, as I like to say, to these here, and replicating that form. Maybe if we clean it up a little bit more, we'll actually like it. I don't know though. Perspective. Mirror and weld this so I can see it. I definitely like the major forms that we've created here with parts of our ear here in this edge and all that. I don't know if I actually like these really at all right now. I think I want to tweak this outer loop a little bit, and then maybe mess with figuring out what I want to do with this connection point, because I'm not a huge fan of that whole bottom connection currently. I think we're definitely closer. You know, before I deleted most of what I had before. I did it pretty quickly, just doing some poly modeling with ZModeler, but now I'm definitely liking the direction more for sure, but we'll get there. What about the thing that has another thing right next to it? That one is my favorite thing. Well, thank you, EP. I'm glad you like that thing. I do spend money on the things I love. Yeah, sounded like it. Spent $200 on an ex-girlfriend of mine. Very nice. Very nice. Hints why she's an ex-girlfriend. That's hilarious. Alright. So, let's see how we're doing on time real quick here. My throat. I drank some tea to help it. Really, not feeling great this morning, though. We're a little over the 2-hour mark. So I'll stream for a little bit longer here, but I gotta bounce here indefinitely the next 30 minutes. Let me try to play with this. So I'll play with my ears. I'll play with my ears a little bit longer, and try to get just some better form so that we can kind of put a little button on this. I did some real ear sculpting not too long ago. We'll keep that bullion on. If people are interested in, you know, sculpting the ear anatomically. I like sculpting ears. Ears are fun. I like sculpting ears, and I think noses are really fun. It's just a lot of variety and different shapes going on. But these ears are quite different. I'm gonna try, what is happening right now? Music. I'm gonna try to blend this a little bit better. Just bring it in. definitely getting there. Definitely a lot closer, I think, with these tweaks. I'm not sure. I like this shape more, for sure, that I'm kind of creating here in the middle. Not sure if I want to keep all these creases going on, and I like the idea of kind of adding in some creases around the edges here, and maybe doing a couple more. I don't know. Seeing how it goes. Do some back edges or something like that. Make it a little bit more interesting visually. Since it's so rounded in the back, I think maybe I'll do that. But just to kind of follow this edge here a little bit. Follow it there as well. And do something interesting here with this transition. One thing that'll screw you up if you're working with dynamic subdivs and you're trying to like use a selection tool like I was just doing there. The actual vertex is way up here and I'm trying to like mask this and it's not working, and that's obviously because dynamic kind of tricks you into thinking the geometry is doing one thing. It's just kind of pre-visualizing for you what the geometry could look like with subdivisions instead of accurately, you know, representing that how it is currently. If I were to subdivide that, then, you know, that would be the actual vertex and I would be able to modify it. But at least for the time being, that's not true. So, you know, an actual subdivision in here could be helpful. You know, play with some of these shapes a little bit more. Hired Gun Games, are you self-taught or did you go to university? I am 100% self-taught in ZBrush. I was doing study abroad in Tokyo, and I took a ZBrush book with me and my shitty laptop and spent a few months there learning Japanese, studying Japanese at an all-Japanese school. And when I wasn't doing that, I was reading this ZBrush book and following along with it, trying to figure it all out. Let's get some more subdivs in here. Kind of an interesting shape language that we got going on between hard and soft shapes. Let's turn on everything. Again, I don't know if I think this is the piece that's really kind of screwing with me right now. So it looks a little out of place with the rest of the shape language. And that's more so that it's, you know, everything is kind of pointing up here. Maybe I can somehow get that shape language in this piece as well. I think maybe just kind of tweaking some of the thickness here is really gonna help that. But we will maybe have to do that in our night stream tonight. Hopefully not. I want to try to do something different tonight on our stream. So let's try to raise this edge a little bit here. Really try to tweak this. Same here, self-taught, but you don't know Japanese. I don't don't have anybody to speak Japanese with too much anymore, so, you know, a lot of it gets forgotten. But, I mean, 3 months isn't enough to become fluent, for sure. I had been teaching myself Japanese before that, and then, finally, you know, decided that I wanted to do a study abroad program and get that immersion therapy going on, essentially. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I was definitely studying Japanese. That program was just one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. It was super difficult. Everything was very strict, and I'm someone who struggled with learning languages until I really got into Japanese. I wasn't, like, all through high school and college, language wasn't something that I was super interested in, and I only took it so that I could, you know, get the credit hours for whatever I needed to. But I kind of started self-studying Japanese and got really into it, and I was like, let's do some study abroad. Let's try it out. It's going to be the only chance I'll be able to do it. So, I did it. And yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. But like I said, whew, it was really tough. I went to a school called KCP International. KCP International Japanese University, something like that. KCP are the letters, though. It's been a few years. But yeah, all the classes were in Japanese. It was like, sink or swim. We don't speak English, and everybody here is from all over the world, so our only, you know, language that everybody can and will speak is Japanese. It's like, okay. Alright. We'll probably do some more stuff with the ears later. I can almost guarantee it. But we will check them off our list for now, since we've worked on them quite a bit here during the stream. My pen might be out. Oh, nope, we're good. But some other things that we're going to look at in tonight's live stream. I don't know, maybe you guys can let me know what you would like to see. We're going to be either doing some painting for the eyes, maybe the face as well, maybe some other stuff, or working on some cloth. So we did some more hard surfacey stuff today, so maybe something with the dress or something with the hood that we got going on back here. I am not actually a huge fan of the design of this hood with this dress. I think it almost feels very backpacky, and it feels very strange just with the clothing option, and I might delete it completely, and if I want to put something else up there I might, or maybe it'll just be blank. Really, I don't know. I haven't really played around with the idea of not keeping it up there, but there's definitely a lot of work that we need to do on our dress here, as well as our hood if we keep it. But yeah, we'll play with it more. We'll play with the dress or painting the eyes in tonight's live stream. So come and hang out for that if you guys are around. I'm going to save this before I forget. Make sure I find the right ZBrush folder here. And grab that. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for stopping in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out and talking. And giving me somebody to talk to while I sculpt away. Hopefully you learned something new maybe today, and hopefully some of this was helpful, just watching me work and seeing how I do some stuff here. But I'd love to see you guys in the live stream tonight. Follow me on YouTube or subscribe or whatever it's called. Follow me on Twitter as well if you want to be notified that way, whichever works for you. But let's see. Before I go, did you ever try realism, or was your first and only love stylized? I have tried realism. The first thing that I ever sculpted was a realistic skull in ZBrush. And there's some really old images that I have of a lot of old stuff. But yeah. Maybe a large collar. Not a collar, but there's like a tattoo that I'm gonna do. There's some tattooing other stuff I'll have to show you guys later. But something around the neck at least, if I don't do the hood, to have some kind of I think there's too much rest going on there if I remove the hood completely. So trying to find something there. I don't really know. We'll figure it out. Pen PCM. I don't know if you're just popping in here, but yes, of course we're gonna pose her. Not yet though. We're not there quite yet. We're gonna still keep trekking with our other shapes and forms here. But yeah, if nobody else has any additional questions, I will see you in tonight's live stream hopefully, or in the next morning stream. Again, I'm not sure if there's gonna be one tomorrow, so do follow me on Twitter or whatever you need to do to keep updated if you guys wanna do that. But let's see, anything else? There's a new episode of Art Anonymous that came out last Thursday on my YouTube channel, if you guys are interested in that. There's a new tutorial on my channel for how to instance geometry. I do have it popped up here. Little instancing geometry tutorial, if you guys are interested in that. That's actually something that I would like to use on this character here. I think it's really cool to be able to instance stuff in ZBrush, but yeah, that's all. I think that's all the shout outs. But yeah, guys, I hope to see you in the next stream. Thanks again for coming in and chatting. Take it easy, absolutely. You guys do the same. I'm gonna head off, grab some lunch, and go to the gym. Get my bike on. Maxtor says hello. I'm sorry, Maxtor. You've come in at the wrong moment. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next stream, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right, bye now.